Hello everybody, Ghost Critic here, and with a little bit different comic review show. It's not the main one, let's put it that way. With the bank holiday just been, delivery of comics is a day behind, so instead of me picking them up last night, I picked them up tonight instead. And there was quite a stack, so what I thought, so I can properly think about the main batch of them, I do, well obviously you can see from the title, Saga issue 2 came out. We'll get to that one, don't you worry. I have been picking up a few independent titles of late, mostly because of recommendations from you guys out there and video reviews I've seen, and a bit of a mixed bag, I'm afraid. Let's kick it off. IDW's Smoke and Mirrors issue 1. It's been out a couple of weeks now. We have this alternative universe that uses magic as if it was just like a daily, everyday occurrence. The use of like chants and incantations and spells and charms, and this is how you live your life. It's a normal course of the day thing, it's nothing unusual. It begins off with this kind of presentation from this Steve Jobs type character who's introducing the latest kind of spell or magic that's going to make your life quicker and easier, and it's called gesture. Now, I have a gesture for this comic, but I'm far too much of a gentleman to use it, so I will use this gesture for what I think of this comic. This is a big thumbs down from me, I'm afraid. I just didn't... No, it wasn't that I didn't get it. It was just such a... I want to say lame. It was just really boring. I'm sorry. I know quite a few people out there actually liked it and maybe looking forward to the next issue. I certainly won't be recommending it to anyone myself. There was just nothing in there that grabbed me. It's kind of funny at the end with, it's centred around this little boy who's at school, and he's a bit of a kind of a rebel, and he goes to like these pretty shady places where this guy is doing traditional magic, the magic that we know, the rabbit out the hat, the card trick and stuff like that. And this is not the norm. This isn't how magic is done in this universe, so it's very confusing to the young boy. Now there is, like, the guy does a card trick. He does it twice on the kid, and you can't help yourself but do it yourself. It's that whole, I hope you can see that, you know, he's asking you to pick one of those cards, and what he does, he guesses which card you picked. Now, creepy, sort of. I picked the card that he thought I'd pick for the first time. The second time, when he used a different set of 5 cards, I was going to pick one card, but then I went, no, I'll pick that one. And he actually picked the first one I thought of. Spooky! But that still didn't grab me anyway, so even though I've spoken on about this for far too long, I really wouldn't recommend this, and I won't be picking up the second one. Another one that, for different reasons really, I picked it up. It's another issue 1 from Image. It was Rebel Blood by Riley Rossmo and Alex Link. This is zombie animals, basically, what appears to be. You know, we've had The Walking Dead, all these kind of zombie type books, but they've been predominantly around human beings. So what could be a little twist to that? Oh, let's make the zombies animals. Again, I had problems with this. I'm not a particular fan of the artwork. It's that kind of roughshod looking, scrappy, not doodly, kind of scratchy, visceral, kind of throwing it all around on the page. I don't know. Let me show you an example. No, that's the second page spread there. Hopefully you can see that well enough. It's just not my thing. It's just too much. The storyline, while it had this kind of dream, nightmarish like element to it, the backwards and forwards of the storytelling, is this part of the story real, or is it just him making it up in his head, what he, you know, going through what could happen, and the final outcome, very, very confusing. And when you get to the very end, where the kind of the big cliffhanger, the big shock ending, you're kind of confused, completely confused. So Rebel Blood, not for me, no. Let's get on to something a little bit better. Well, not a little bit better, a lot better. People have been shouting this out loads, and I'm glad I did finally find a copy of this, because my local comic book store did not have it. Ragemore from Dark Horse Comics, issue 1. This was really, really good. It's like, you know Krakoa from Wolverine and the X-Men? It's like if you put Krakoa in a Hammer horror film. This is Ragemore. It is basically the living castle. It groans, it moans, it moves, it eats people. It's just a really, really nice comic. Black and white. Did have a little bit of a problem with the faces to begin with, but they kind of grow on you. I love the build-up storyline to how the castle was built and why it's so evil, and you know, the warning from its present resident that can't leave, to this unlikely couple that have come to stay. The subterfuge from the two is, and them getting their comeuppance, is very nice. It's very Hammer horror, but in comic book form, and I love it, and I can't wait to see what else will come from this. Definitely recommend it if you've not picked it up already. New out this week, Hickman. Mr. Jonathan Hickman has a new comic book out, again on Image. They are throwing these titles out, new titles out at us, and it's Secret. Now, Secret, it's Hickman, so it's a conundrum within a confusion within we have, it's all to do with this security company. Security company being called, is it Steadfast Security? I believe it was. And they're basically doing, they've been employed by this company to make sure that their security is solid and tight and no one can steal from them, etc., through computers or just getting on the building. And of course, Steadfast Security completely shows them how utterly rubbish their security system is. Interspersed with all this is a kind of ski-masked SAS type guy, flitting from countries, causing blood, torture and mayhem along the way. A twist you kind of see coming at the end, but still it's like, oh, nice. The book as an entirety, as I was reading it, I kind of don't know if anyone remembers the film The Firm with Tom Cruise in it, with like the corrupt solicitors. I very much had a feel of that as I was reading through it. My only kind of gripe with it is the artwork. Not necessarily the artwork, no, it's the colouring. Hitman has decided to bring on colourist Michael Garland, and most of the book is done in a kind of monochrome colour setting. So each panel or a page will just be done in one colour and shades of that colour. Now, whether this is them trying to be clever, colours having connotations with certain feelings, emotions, etc. Whether they're doing it that way, I'm not sure. Obviously, with all the kind of the torture and the blood scenes, it's a lot of red in there. There's a scene at like a conference table with the owners of this company, with the steadfast security employees on the other, and it kind of switches from this kind of cold blue grey colour to and that's when they're showing the company people of this building, to a yellow colour when they're showing the steadfast security. But it's not continual, as in, you know, the security people aren't always in yellow. So maybe I may be reading a little bit too much into that, but then I still think, well, what's the point then? What is the point of the colours? Why is it done in just this monochrome style? Still a cracking read. Definitely worth picking up for the first issue, see if you like it or not. I think I will pick up the second issue after the relatively see-through twist at the end, but yeah, enjoyable. And so what you've all come for, yes, Saga! Yes, Saga issue 2 came out this month, and you know, we were right to hype it up. I was a little tentative when I opened this comic, and I thought, we've built it up, we've built it up, and we've built it up to be the next huge, amazing, fantastic thing. And we're going to open issue 2 and we're just going to be like, oh God, we look like idiots now. Well, we do not. Most certainly not. Saga issue 2 delivers yet again. Fine, it's only half the amount of pages, but still that imaginative, magical, science fiction, fantasy extravaganza that we had in issue 1 is still firmly emplaced in this book, and I love this title to bits. If you have not heard of Saga, find it. It doesn't matter if it's a 1st, 2nd, 4th, 5th, 7th, 25th print. Just pick it up and read it. You will love it. Not to spoil too much of it, but we begin with, if you remember, the character of The Will, who's like a freelance bounty hunter. Now he's checking in with his agent who's got him this job to kill our 2 main characters and deliver the baby. And I love it. I mean, his name is The Will, and as we know from the last comic, there are other people that have been employed to get this job done as well as him. And they've got great names like The Import, The Fluke, and the best one, The Stalk. Now the best thing about this comic is you cannot second guess what is coming. It is just so out there that it's impossible to know. You know, you look at a page and you think, I know what's going to happen in the next page. Well, you do not. You cannot. It's impossible. You get our 2 main heroes are still trying to get to the rocket ship forest, but they're trying to make their way through the endless woods, and at the moment being ensnared by them. And then we go back and we've got the old TV set heads, kind of regal princes and royalty, and the imaginative panels, and you know, the forms of transport, the way they look, it's just so special, so nice to look at. and it just excites me. What blew me away twice was we do eventually, as the comic progresses, get to see the Stalk, which is another of these freelancers that are after our two main characters. Now, when you see the Stalk to begin with, you're blown away to start with. You're like, whoa, I don't want to mess with this. There's no way this is going to look or go anywhere good. And you turn the page, and it's like I said, you just cannot second guess. You cannot. And it just like, wow. I can't show you. You have to read this comic. Go out and buy it now. Even to the point, you know, there's, you know, that the end of the last issue when the two characters were in the woods alone and you had all these red eyes in the background, and these are the horrors. This, what we think is a mythical, kind of very monstrous, bestial race. You'll never guess. You will never guess, but it's really, really cool. I love this comic. I can only imagine, just from these two issues, it's only going to go from strength to strength. Best comic of the month, and I haven't even read the big twos yet. Best comic of the month. So yes, that's a shortish kind of review with my independence. Bit of a mixed bag. Sorry for those who liked those first couple of issues. Really weren't for me. I will be reading the main big two comics, Marvel and DC's lot, this evening, and I'll have probably a video up tomorrow morning. Until then, I hope you've enjoyed this one, and I'm out of here. Don't forget, subscribe, thumb up, and comment. I love it all. Bye bye.